Thank you very much. So up next, we have another dear friend of the book club. Her name is Rutendo Chichaya, or Rehab and Relapse online. She is a poet, she's a writer, and she's also a book reviewer. She has a very interesting podcast called Iwi. And she's also featured on the Soirée collection of poems by Zimbabwean women alongside Pauline and other great female Zimbabwean writers. That book is also on sale. Again, please remember to buy books today if possible. We've got Book Fantastics and Weaver Press here, as well as the Harare Book Club store. Yes, even if you don't read, please buy a gift for someone. Christmas is coming up. So Soirée is on sale too, as well as Hope's collection of books. Her books are 10, 10, and 15. They're at the front desk. So for now, I'm going to leave you with Rutendo. Please give her a round of applause. Hello. How are you? You know what they say about dirty linen? You're never hanging out in public, but we're going to do something. Dirty linen. Some poems need to be struck out by a gentle and slow hand. Of what use are rhymes and stanzas when time has passed? When dreams have dissolved with the fading sun, leaving only wounds bright and infinite like stars in the dark blanket of the night. The wounds cannot be erased or burnt. For there is a season that must be accounted for by blood, sweat, or tears. There is a season, but what use are words that mirror dreams you'd rather leave behind? Some poems do not deserve to see the light of day. The questions, mysteries, and reflections should lie safe between the traces of memory, where no amount of searching, asking, and yearning can rewrite what has already been. Writing the lines, even reading them out loud, feels like hanging linen that you've slept in for far too long. On the washing line, where neighbors point and whisper, "Ooh, she slept in it for too long. Look at that stain, it will never come off." Damning. The stanzas and sonnets feel like shame, even when you do what needs to be done. Number one, you wash it, no detergent and willpower is enough. Number two, you hang it on the washing line, already fighting for its life, and the edges dangle and sway in the dust. Number three, you leave it out for all to see. Then the fingers point and the voices whisper. So the shame comes again and you leave the linen out too long to dry, counting the hours until nightfall. But you know that the sun has scorched and stiffened the fabric and everything becomes harder. You gather enough courage to bring in your linen under the cover of darkness. No one can save you, but what is there to see really? All has been revealed and scrutinized. That is the only linen you own, and you refuse to go to bed without it. It is the only warmth that you know now, the only caress that your body now anticipates, washed, dried, and somehow fresh. Some poems do not deserve to see the light of day. You hold the edges of the linen with your shaking hands, the memories and stains and the seams too heavy for the physical and too filthy for the spiritual. You breathe heavily, now only to the rhythm of the air and the fabric swaying in your hands. You put the linen on the bed and you lay in it ready. You're used to going to bed naked, so your body feels warmth, now oddly familiar, somehow new, and then it breaks. You weep. Your body breaks again. This breaking now a reflex. It breaks again, this time into infinite pieces like the stars in the night, because everything feels like hell in the blanket of darkness. Thank you. Things are going to get heavy. I'm going to read two poems from a project that I'm working on. The first one is called The Orchestration of Casualties. It is by design that university churns out more graduates than the industries can take, that the bridges in the low density and the high density areas are filled with young men and women thinking about what now, what if, or when, while their stomachs rumble and their minds tumble. Do you think that they want to go to bed hungry? Do you think that they choose to walk into their family homes empty-handed? You will say that they sit on their hands, yet 3 or 4 years ago they did that thing that the system said would give them power. Education is power and the ultimate inheritance. It was said so they held on to the bags of dreams and fried their brains out in dusty libraries. But of course, how can the power of education thrive in the face of abuse of power? It is by design that there is a sofa that bears the name of the man of the house where no one else can sit, that the children in his home, which in most times feels like an empty kennel and not a home, rush into their rooms like ants crawling to the anthill when they hear their father's footsteps approaching the front door at the end of the day. They think about their mother who cannot join their file out of the lounge to the nest, for she should pacify his rage after a long working day, his and hers too. She serves him a hot meal with a smile on her face, but of course they see it in her eyes. It is not by coincidence that the television series that are flighted daily and loved by so many, the chart-topping music and high-grossing films are filled with scenes and the glory of violence, disgusting crime and various propaganda to sanitize the filthy and the unfathomable. What chance do the consumers have? But of course, it is primetime television that peddles the lies of the government of the day and normalizes the cane that whips a certain demographic into line. It is not a mistake that the men with the big black Benzes and Beamers loiter around the school wall during lunchtime and after the last bell of the day has rung, preying on little girls who come from various walks of life, whose hearts and eyes still yearn for the shiny things of the world. Their hearts beat to the sound of the music of the day. Their walks and their fashion imitate the trends. But of course, they're children, innocent and still learning who they are and how to be. Our communities are not safe. Not that we are without agency and will, the dreams are vivid, the attempts to thrive are relentless, but the hands of time are unforgiving. It is not a mistake, it is by design. It is not by coincidence, it is by design. It is not a mistake, it is by design. It is not by coincidence, it is by design. So my final poem is a call to action. It's called Sounds from the Earth. There is a future that we always talk about living. Friend, I've started working on that future. I wrote a poem for November and told the universe that November sounds like a good month to claim freedom while we wait for the rains. Hello, 17 November. A time when the sun smiles and the flamboyants light up, littering the streets with their fiery red, ushered by the intoxicating fragrance of the just ended October's jacarandas. Imagine that, claiming freedom in the arms of blooms. How elegant. November, the beautiful November, but still in the year unknown. We once teased that freedom would come when we are ancestors, upon feeling the fatigue in our feet and the despair in our spirits. We laughed with tears in our eyes, about how our bones would rejoice and arise for our daughters. The earth has been speaking to me lately, and it has come to this. But what about now, friend? With the chill in our eyes and thunder on our tongues, the times are cunning and more of us are dying. Have we not suffered enough? There is a future that we always talk about living. That laughter we shared once has been interminably haunting me in my dreams, and it's punctuated with hues of the blues. You know, November sounds nice. It looks beautiful and comfortable, but still, it is in an unknown time. I know we are weary, the heart is growing faint, and our bodies want to rest. Longing for change can be more than a dream, for I feel this is what we now live for. We must push through and try to claim our freedom now. For of what use is it for the body to find ease now and the spirit to remain restless forever? Thank you.